Yo, what's up? What's up? Brian V Dog Saturation. What's up? What's up? What's up? Train, what's up? How's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody had a good weekend. Chris, what's up? Jesus, what's up? Zach? What is up, everybody? So, anybody watching the replay, what's up? I never say that, but it's a smart thing to say. Lots of people watch the replay. So in this video, even though I put it in the title, I'll let you know. What's up, Danny, Michael, Bones? What's up? What I'm going to go over is, and my man Wakus, he's usually in here. He kind of asked me, how do you figure out, the ohms or whatever or how do you figure out when a battery's safe? Like, what's the math that you have to do to figure out your battery's safe for your mechanical mech mod? Like, how do you know that build is safe, So I'm going to show you the math that you could use to figure that out. You're just here for the ohms. What's up, West? And then somebody asked me to kind of help them with stitch aliens and interlocks. So I'm going to do one of each. I've done them in videos before, but I'll just go over them. I'll do one each. I'll make a frame staple, and I'll do one coil stitched alien, one coil interlock. And then I wanted to show you guys about double barrel frames. I did a build yesterday on Instagram, so I have that here. So this is the start of the build, and I'm going to put double barrel frames on here and show you guys exactly what that is and how I've done it the one time that I've done it. So yeah. So first I'll show you the Ohms law thing. I'm not going to get too much into it. Yeah, lots of people have problems with interlocks. It should be the first double barrel. I mean, I do a lot of firsts, so it's not surprising to me that it's the first. There's a lot of builds out there, and there ain't a tutorial for every one of them. So, we are, we'll go over the Ohm's law thing first. So basically what you need to know, this is just a simple way to figure it out. What you need to know is there is a video on this over on Twisted Message's page. He has a Noisy Cricket video, and he explains how you figure out the math and how you figure out it's safe for your batteries. So one thing you need to know with it is that batteries, the output on batteries, what it says on the batteries is 3.7. All right, that's the volt output on them. Now, we know that when we take like a voltmeter or something, we know just from what history's taught us from videos and stuff that it's really 4.2. So batteries can really charge up to 4.2, and they could also output up to 4.2. Most mods can't do that. They're usually outputting 3.9, but to be safe, we're going to use the example of 4.2. That's the most a battery could output is 4.2. It ain't going higher than that. It's usually between 3.7 and 4.2. So that's one thing you need to know, 4.2. Then you need to know the ohms of your coil. All right? The ohms of your coil is something that you need to know. So you take the volts of your battery, output 4.2, your ohms. Let's just use a 0.15 as the example, 0.15 ohms. So 4.2, 0.15 ohms, and you divide them together. Whatever number you get is how many amps that build's going to fire at under that load. So let me just hop down and kind of write this down and show you on the calculator. So the equation that we're doing is we take the volts, V for volts, and we divide it by the ohms. And that will equal the amps that you need on your battery. All right. So the volts that our batteries fire out at on a mech mod, the volts that they fire at, the most is 4.2. Now, most of the time, it doesn't even fire up to this. Actually, almost 100% of the time, your mech mod can't fire that. There's just drop, there's battery sag, there's a whole bunch of stuff that makes it not fire like that, but this is the worst case scenario. So to be the safest, if you're doing math like this, you want to be safe. This is the safest number you go with. So 4.2, and we're going to divide that by the ohms. Now let's just say we have, you know, a 6-wrap alien dual coil, 27 gauge, I think it is about 0.15. All right, 0.15, that's your ohms. And that will tell us how many amps our batteries need to be. Now, to figure out what your battery's amps are, you should know that before you buy them. You could go over to Battery Mooch and, you know, see what your battery's amps are. But you should know that before you buy them. These are about 25 amps, all right? So I'm going to take the 4.2 and I'm going to divide that by the 1.5 ohms equals 28. So you need your battery to be 28 amps for this to work. Now, you guys are probably all thinking, Nick, that's a 0.15. You're always telling us that you're vaping below a 0.08. These batteries are 25 amps continuous current, but they're usually about like 50 amps or 60 amps pulse. Pulse is anything under 30 seconds. So as long as I don't hold my battery down for that long, I take a pull at about 2 seconds. My pulls are usually 2 seconds, maybe 3. So I'm going to be within them amps for this battery. Plus, I always change them out. So this is the equation you have to figure out. So really, a 0.15 is really what they'll tell you is the safest to vape your mech mods at. You really aren't supposed to go lower than that with this equation, knowing that your batteries are about 28 amps. So this is the equation you need to do with your amps. I would really just go over to Battery Mooch and just pick out the best batteries that have the best rating, the best amps, and the more amps they have, usually the better pulse rating they have. So if they have 25 amp batteries, the pulse rating is usually about 50 or 60 amps per pulse. So this is the equation you need to figure it out. Volts divided by your ohms equals your amps. So let's just say, I mean, let me just show you what you're pulling. 4.2 divided by 0.08. This is how many amps that you're pulling with a build like that. So let me clear this out. 4.2 divided by 0.08. About 52 amps. So this is why they tell you that you should get a parallel box, or you should get a triple parallel, because now watch. With a parallel box, you double that load. You get 2 batteries in there. So you got, hold on, how does this go? No, I'm sorry. You got 2 batteries in there, but they still fire at 4.2. All right, 4.2 divided by, let's just say, a 0.1 ohm. So 4.2 divided by 0.1 ohm equals 42. So that's 42 amps. But if you have a parallel box, they split the load. So if you have a 25 amp battery, you have 2 of them. 2 times 25 is 50 amps. That's why it's way safer. So a parallel box will fire this so safely. A 0.1. It'll even fire 0.08 pretty damn safely. A triple parallel is just awesome because it's super safe. Because then you times this by 3 and it could fire 75 amps, depending on your batteries. Yes, and then series, this is why they say series is dangerous and you have to build it high. Because series is shooting out at about 8.4 because it's 2 times 4.2. And then you divide that by your ohms. So you should be firing at about a 0.3 ohm. And that'll give you, so 8.4 divided by 0.30 equals 28. So that's 28 amp. So a 0.3 ohm. That's why sometimes they tell you, like, do it at a 0.35 or a 0.33 because that'll get you at about 25 amps. But that's why you should have your series at that reading, depending on your batteries. It really all matters about the batteries and the build. It really just matters what your batteries' amps are at. That's what you really should check with your batteries. The more amps they are, the quicker they lose their charge, though. So it's always a balance. It's if they have more amps, they have less milliamp hours. So if you have, we were explaining this the other day. If you have, like, this thing says it's 35 amps and 3,000 milliamp hours, there's no fucking way. There's no way, because that's just the best of both worlds. It's either a low number here and a high number here, or a high number here and a low number here. It's usually about 25 amp and like 1,800 milliamp hours. Or it's like 15 amp and 2,500 milliamp hours. That's more like it. But go to Battery Mooch. Battery Mooch has a channel on YouTube. He just goes and he fucking researches all batteries. He's just real. That's just his thing. Battery Mooch. I'll see if I always say this, that I'll get a link, but he is a good person to have a link to in the description. So I will try to remember to put the link in the description, but just go to Mooch, Battery Mooch. All right. So that's like the best I can really tell you for a quick way to figure out the math. Obviously, the lower you go, you're running a risk, and that's just up to you whether you want to take that risk. I mean, you could practice all the precautions and try to be the safest you can. If you like to vape that low, then that's on you. I know, like, if anything happens, it's my own damn fucking fault because the information's out there. I know the information. I'm not ignorant. But I know that there's always a risk with vaping this low with the batteries. So I practice all the precautions that I should because of that. It is kind of stupid because I could just use my parallel box. It's just, mech mods are weird. You just get this addiction in mech mods and you just really like using them. They're small. They feel right in the hand. When really I have this. It's super safe and I should just be using this, but It's just a weird thing with mech mods. Anybody that's been vaping mech mods at low ohms knows what I'm talking about, but all right, so that's all I'm going to do about that. That's 15 minutes. So now let's do our aliens. So I heard people were trying to get in touch with the Vape Daddy, but it's like 120. It's like 120 for this box. 120 if you're serious about getting it and you get in contact with them. Hit me up because there is a code to use to get $20 off. So you could get it for $100, I believe. It might be 160 or 120. I forget. He gave me a deal on it, so I forget. But they're awesome. I mean, but I don't like taking it to work. I don't like taking it out. I just like this box a lot, but I don't like taking it out. What did I just do? I guess I dropped my mech mod. There it is. Yeah, these batteries need to be charged too. Because parallels ain't really in demand. That's why. It's just they're not in demand. Safety is never in demand. It's fucked up to say, but it's true. Alright. So let's do, let me get a stack together. Let me get a frame staple stack. And then we will, get, some like stitched alien around it or something. I guess we'll do a stitched alien first. So let's do a stitched alien. I'm going to do it over a frame staple. I don't really have a frame staple prepped here. I only got big ones. So let me just get, I'm actually going to use 0.5. I'll use some 0.5 ribbon because I don't know what I'm going to do with this wire. It may just end up getting nothing done to it. So I'm going to get my ribbon ready. I'll turn the camera around in a second. Let me just cut this. So I'm going to get 1, 2, 3 pieces out, and then I'm going to get a half a piece. I'm going to make this 7 pieces of ribbon. So I got 3.5 pieces out. here's my 3 longer pieces. So I'm just going to try to do this fairly quick. Just get it done. There's my 3 pieces. I'm going to take them in my fingers. Get both ends, bring them together so I get a loop in it. Get that loop tight. And then I'm going to take this piece, the half a piece, and put that in the middle so I could have 7 ply. I'm going to close in the loop, make sure I get that 7th ply right in the middle, nice and flat. Once I got it where I want it, I'm going to get a piece of 40 gauge I have laying around here. And I'm going to wrap this loop up. Whatever. And then I could cut the 40 gauge off. And then I could run my fingers down a bit. Now when I do 7 ply, since the middle one isn't in a loop, I definitely like to hot glue it together, because when I run my fingers down, I run the risk of pulling that middle one out, since it's only a straight piece in the middle of the loops. So I definitely like to hot glue right here. Alright. Make sure they're all flat and stacked good. Could get some water. Okay, now I run my fingers down about 1.25 inches. Get some more 40 gauge. Wrap it. Cut the 40. Pinch the 40. Bring it all the way down to the end. And I'm just going to get this nasty shit here and cut it. Bring this all the way down, and there I got my stack. Now I just need some frames, so I'm going to get some... I'm going to get some 26 gauge Canthal, since I used nichrome ribbon. So I'm going to get out 2 times the size of my ribbon stack, so about 16 inches or so. Cut it here. Put my 26 back. Put that back. That back. Now, when doing a stitched alien and an interlock alien, You just use the same alien ratio, 3-to-1, so 3 cores of 26, you would decore a piece of 26. Alright, so this is Canthal, so I am going to make it straight by twisting it on my drill. So I'm getting my frame on my stack. I got 7 pieces of 0.5, 2 pieces of 26, and that's about equivalent to 6 pieces of 26. It's a little less, but I'm going to end up decoring a piece of 24. Cloud Envy, what's up? If you had 0.4, it's the same thing. 0.5 is a little taller, but the tallness doesn't matter. It's the width that matters. The tallness isn't such a big deal. It's the width that you have to watch out for. All right. 0.5 and 26 are, you know, they're a little, 0.5 is a little taller than 26, but not by much. A little less than 1 millimeter, I believe, or 0.1 millimeter. So it's a very little difference in height. So the height never matters when I'm talking about the alien math. We're always looking for the width. Unless you're doing something really dumb, like using 0.5 ribbon and 30 gauge frames, then that's way different. Those frames are way different. You just got to look at the chart that I put in the alien math video and be smart about the height. But as long as you're pretty close, it hardly matters. Slide down here, do another 40 gauge wrap. Leave a little bit of the 40 gauge on. I'm going to slide that 40 gauge down a little bit. And I'm going to get this wire right here. I'm going to cut off some 0.5. And I'm going to wrap it around like that. Crimp it flat. Give it one more wrap. And crimp it flat. That's going to be my slider. I could slide the 40 gauge down, slide the slider down. 40 gauge slider. 40 gauge slider. Alrighty. Good. That's as you should. As you should. Bend my 26s down. Cut. Cut. Okay. Here's my prep, all ready to go. Okay. So let's prep some decor. So what I'm gonna do is I got some 24 gauge here. I'm gonna get a piece out, and it's gonna be about 16 inches as well. Yeah, saturation is a horrible first name. What were your parents thinking? Okay. I know. I'm going to get the 24 gauge onto the drill, and I'm going to grab it with my needle noses and twist it straight. I'm going to cut it from this drill because I'm actually going to use my faster drill. I ended up hooking up Yeah, 100-foot roll of 24. I make a lot of 24 gauge fuse Clapton, so I gotta have a 100-foot roll. Spend more money buying little rolls. So I got my impact. It goes 700 more rotations a minute. This goes 2,800 rotations per minute. This goes 21. That 700 rotations per minute makes a huge difference. I tried to show this on a video live, but I was doing it with 40 gauge, so it still seemed long, but it was really actually very quick. But watch how fast I get through a 36 gauge fuse Clapton on 24. So we're going to do the stitched alien first. So once again, 7 pieces of 0.5, 26 gauge frames, 24 gauge decor. So this is a stitched alien. For a stitched alien, I need a decored Clapton, just like a regular alien. Same math as a alien. Get this on my drill here. Grab it here. Twist. Twist. Alright, I got some 36 gauge nichrome. Alright, I'm going to turn the volume down as I do this because loud bro. Fucker. me just get a vape real quick. Goon version 1.5 on the broadside. Blueberry Delight, American Liquid Co. Brand new battery. Pitchforks, 4-wrap, very low. Milk of the Divine, yeah, fresh. All right. I'm going to get my 36, put it in the little hole that's made from the 24 twist. Do a couple rotations so it grabs on. And I'm going to turn the volume down so you guys don't have to hear this. There you go. Just loosening it up. There it is. Cut this free. 2,800 RPM. 2,800. So 700 rotations quicker than my other drill. I did 4 sets of aliens yesterday in 25 minutes. Start to finish, wrapping them up and everything. Most drills are at least 1,200. All right. Now I can put my 24 gauge to the side. We'll use that for the next one. Yeah, it's quick, right? 25 minutes. Somebody called me, said I'll be there in 15 minutes. He called me in 20 minutes. I said, wait 5 minutes. I'm wrapping them up. What's up, Jeff? All right, so now I will get my stack on the swivel. Get it in my drill as centered as possible. Why am I doing this right now? Hold on. That's not what I do with a stitched alien. Let that hang there. Alright. This is what I do with a stitched alien. Let me get a piece of paper so you guys can see. stack of paper down here. I'll get my alien here. Okay, so anybody that's done a stitched alien before knows that when they go to stretch it and they go to clapton it on, sometimes it, like, the stitch like grabs to the clapton. Because of this, that's because your stretch is a little off, first of all, and you're stretching it as it goes around. And second of all, sometimes it's just too big. So I like to do one coil at a time when I do stitched aliens. I just always do that. So this wire is about 14 inches long, maybe a little longer. So I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to cut it at about 7.5 inches right here, clean. All right, so now I have two pieces about the same size here. And I'm just going to do one at a time. I'm actually just going to do one now. Hopefully I don't fuck up the first one. But I got 36 gauge D-cord here, D-cord off a 24 gauge. Now, when you stitch it, you want to stitch it with something fairly smaller than what your clapton was. So I like to stitch 36 with 40 gauge. You could do 38. But I think I'm going to do 40 gauge. Yeah, let's do 40 gauge. Yeah, 40 gauge. Where's my 40 gauge? 40 gauge stainless steel here. So I get my 40 gauge, make sure there's no kinks in it or anything. This matters. All right. I'm going to get my 40 gauge. I'm going to take it by the end here with my needle noses, and I'm going to stretch it a little bit so it goes straight. So it's straight now. All right. I guess you guys can't really see it because it's 40 gauge. Let's do it with 38 so you guys can see a little bit better at least. All right, so I got 38 gauge here. Make sure there's no kinks in it. And there is, so I'm going to cut that. I could use that to bind something later. Take this. I'm going to pull it out about that 7.5 inches, stretch it straight, and put it down on the table here. Now, since I grabbed it with the needle noses, there's a little bend in it. So I'm going to pick it up. Carefully, you don't want to bend it up the wire anymore. You don't want any bends in it. You want it straight so it sends through easier. And I'm going to cut that bend off clean. And I'm also going to make sure that this is clean inside the hole here. I want to make sure that when I cut that, there's no like burrs or anything in there. I know it's hard for you guys to see, but I could see. All right, you guys. And now I'm going to get the 40 gauge or the 38 gauge into the 36. I'm actually going to bring it on the edge of the paper here. Whatever you got to do to get it started, do that. All right. It was in there too. This is going to be the hardest part here. I just had it though, so it shouldn't be hard for me to get it again. You can pick it up if it's easier for you to do. Just remember, you don't want to bend that stitch. Okay, now I just take the 36 and I push it up. And I do this until the stitch comes out the other end, which it did. Right. Now, I take both of these. And what people used to do before we started using hot glue, I do pull this through a little more. Pull the stitch out, give yourself enough to work with. What people used to do before we used hot glue is just tie these together somehow. Whatever way you got to do it. So I'm stretching the 36 out straight at the end here. And you could tie it in a knot, or you could hot glue it. But make sure if you tie it in a knot, you don't just tie the stitch. Tie them both. So you don't want to send this through and just send the stitch through. You want to send them both through themselves. Pull them tight, and now they're tied together. I'm also gonna, I like hot gluing it because I just feel like it's more permanent that way. Okay. Now notice I've never cut this off the spool. It stayed on the spool the whole time, and it's going to stay on the spool. All right. That 38 stays on the spool the entire time. For interlocks you do, this isn't an interlock. This is a stitch. No, we're doing a stitch and we're doing an interlock, not a stitched interlock. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Okay? 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 I was just going to say I should put, anytime anybody says anything, any stupid questions, you're going in timeout. Ask me Ohm's law and I will put you in timeout because we already did that today. Ask me what I'm vaping and you're going in timeout because I already said that today. Yeah, the double stitched interlock stag. Yeah, don't even ask about the loop method. All right. Here it is. So I get my clamp and I clamp down the piece that I hot glued. I clamp this to my desk. Make sure you clamp both. This is very important. Clamp both to the desk. Make sure that that clamp is grabbing both of them. You do not want to pull the stitch out of this after that little bit of work you just did. Okay. Now I'm going to grab my 38. Not the 36 yet. 36 is right here. All right. Here's the end of the 36. Here's the 38 where it starts. Here's the spool. grab the 38 out. I'm going to give it a little tug to like stretch it straight. Okay. And now I'm going to grab the 36 and stretch it just like I would any alien over the 38. And stretch it until you see your alien. Just like if you were to do a regular alien. If you don't know how to do a regular alien, you probably shouldn't be doing a stitched alien. If you pull the 38 out a little more than you did already stretch it again a little bit. Now, when I let go of this 36, I'm going to hold the 38 tight. All right. So when I was pulling the 36 and I had the 38 and I let it go after I stretch it, pull that 38 so it doesn't bunch up, because sometimes that 36 grabs onto the 38 and pulls it forward. So I stretched it. I let go of the 36 but pulled the 38 so it was still tight. Let's see if I can get a good view of doing this. So I got the 36, pulling the 38 tight. I stretch it where it has to go. Let go of the 36, but keep tension on the 38. I keep the 38 on the spool. I put both behind me, and I let out about 3 feet on the spool of the 38 after the 36. So, leaving this spool on is important. So, if you don't, there's some people that don't leave the spool on, and what they do is they cut the wire a little bigger, which I don't like doing. I like leaving the spool on. They cut the wire a little bit bigger, and then they put a weight on the end. The weight on the end of the stitch is important. It pulls tension on the stitch so it doesn't bind up as you're going. This is 2 pieces of wire. So you're already holding the outside wire, which is the 36, but the stitch you're not really holding. So that tension is going to hold it the way you need it to be held. So I'm going to show you what my stretch looks like. And it has to look like this all the way down the wire. See how the 38 looks tight in there? That's what you want. You don't want that 38 binded up in any way. Nice and consistent stretch. That would actually be hilarious. Alright, I'm going to get my stack now. Get it in my drill, make sure I get it as center as I possibly can. Make sure my drill is in the reverse of my Clapton that I did, my decor. All right. I'm getting better, honestly. There's a draft, too. I'm getting better. I could do 3. All right, enough of that. Yeah, I could do it usually all the time, but I'm not doing it good. Sometimes I'm good at one nose, right? Actually, my sinuses were clearing up yesterday. Let's see if it comes out one nostril or 2. They were clear. They were clearer yesterday. They were coming out of both. I got to take my Claritin. That's a trick for you. Don't snort drugs. I fucked up my sinuses for life, I think. Is Sherlock Holmes in here? No deviated symptom neither. It's just when I get allergies, the one nostril gets clogged up. Way worse, the one that I used most of my life. It's like that, what's that show? Eastbound and Down, the first season when, he said he was in rehab and they said, what, did you hurt yourself? Did you hurt your leg? He's like, yeah, I hurt myself. I hurt my nose. You're fucking out. I was wondering what you were talking about. That's funny. So it's possible that I may have to stretch this more, but it's possible that I also got it stretched fine. So we'll see what it is. I always suggest that you understretch it because you could always stretch it more later. So let me get that bind out of the way. Draw in reverse. Now a stitched alien is going to be a little more spaced than a regular alien. So you got to hold the angle out a little more, because there's 2 wires trying to get on them frames, not just one. It sucks stopping. You shouldn't stop. Alright, that's plenty. I don't want to run out of wire for my interlock. I got plenty for 1 coil. I definitely have at least 4 inches of a clean stitch. Now, if you really want to get a a stitched alien, I would really suggest doing the frame staple way. The 3-core is just, it's a little bit harder. Try a frame staple first. If you're not good with frame staples, then go with the 3-core and try 24 gauge 3-core with a 24 gauge D-core. It's just easier to do it on a frame staple because you don't have to worry about the cores. And it honestly just looks better. Sometimes it's just too much wire for 3-core 26 gauge. 3-core 26 is pretty thin. So getting that profile on a small amount of wire is just sometimes hard. So, oh, man, I still got a lot of wire here. I just don't want to prep. I don't want to prep anymore. Frame staple. So I'm going to cut it off. I don't care. So I cut it off. And that's how you do that. And I could cut this 38 off. And that's it. That might have did 2 coils worth, just that 7 inches, because that 38 makes it, you know, it makes it almost double in size, really. I definitely would have got 2 4 wraps, probably 2 5 wraps with some nice leads. All right. So there's that. So let's move on to an interlock. We already got our cores ready. So the same cores, which means the same D core. So let me pop this off. Pop that off. I'll show you this when we get done both of them. I'll show you them next to each other and everything. All right, so let's get the 24 gauge that I made. Where is that? Is this the 24 gauge? Yeah, this got to be the 24 gauge. All right, get the 24 gauge back on the swivel. Now, the guy that was asking me about these was telling me that he's not having luck with the forced parallel Clapton way, and he was just parallel Clapton with the 2 wires. I really suggest just practicing this way because it's just so much easier and more consistent. So I'm just going to show this way again so you could just see exactly what I'm doing. The parallel Clapton way is just much harder, and it doesn't make it as consistent. So sometimes you get these spaces and it's going to mess up. It's going to mess up your stretch. If you have spaces in there, it's going to mess it up. So you want a nice clean Clapton. Yes, you could force 3 Claptons. You could force 4. You could force as many as you want. It's always going to follow one of the wires up. It's going to follow that first wire, and then it's going to follow the second wire, and then it's going to follow the third wire. Whatever wire it falls on, it's going to follow that up. So I got my 24 gauge in here. I'm going to do this with, I don't really like doing 36. I'm going to do 38. Now, don't do 2 different gauges. It's not going to work right. Always do the same gauges with an interlock alien. It's not going to stretch right if you use 2 different. Even if you use nichrome and stainless, or nichrome and kanthal, or kanthal and stainless, they're not going to stretch right. These wires stretch differently. They don't stretch at the same tension. I've tried it before. It just doesn't work. It will not work for you. Use the same wire. So 38 gauge nichrome and 38 gauge nichrome for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my fast drill again. So right now I'm going to parallel Clapton this using the forced Clapton method. It's just the easiest way, the most consistent way for anybody to do this. If you still can't get it this way, I would just practice getting it this way. It can't take you that many tries to get it. It's gotta work for you. I literally think that the second Clapton is easier than the first, and I'm not the only person that thinks that. So if you could Clapton one Clapton, you could definitely do this way. If you could parallel Clapton, you could definitely do it this way. There's just you're probably not doing the one step that I'm going to show you. All right. So first, I'm going to make this Clapton, and I'm going to Clapton halfway up. So this wire is about 2 feet long, but I'm just going to Clapton up this wire about 8 inches. All right. With one piece of 28. So I'm going to get this piece of 28 into the hole made with the 24. Start the Clapton. I'm going to turn the volume down. I'm going to go 8 inches up this wire. All right, there's a little more than 8 inches of wire Claptoned. I got 8.5 inches. So now I'm going to take this, put my drill in reverse, and do a couple rotations to loosen this Clapton. I want to pinch it down here and move it back and forth. If it's not moving, go a little more. You're holding the Clapton, but letting the core turn. There you go. It's loose. You see it? You see that there? All right. So now I can cut this wire. I'll leave about 1/4 inch on. You don't have to. All right. Now I'm going to take this 38 gauge, stick it in the hole made from the 24. And I'm going to start the Clapton. And it's going to go in between a couple of spaces from the first Clapton. You're just going to hold good tension, and you're just going to let the drill go, and it's going to fall in between the gaps. Just hold pretty good tension on it. Not really hard tension, basically just a regular Clapton tension. If something fucks up, reverse it and fix it, but usually it just follows that wire all the way up. Alright, so now it has doubled in size. So now it's about 16 inches long, this clapton, because I just added 2 times the amount of wire. I'm going to hold this spool. Alright, and I'm going to put my drill in reverse and loosen just this clapton up now. Now they're both moving. I can clip this clean. Okay. 38 could be put away. I'm done with that for today. Okay. I'm going to hold both and loosen them up because it does feel a little tight. So I'm holding both claptons now. Okay, now it's moving good. Clip this here. Slide that off. Right up here, it's messy where I pinched it. I think I overdid it with the loosening. So I'm going to cut that off. All right. I got a parallel clapton D-core. All right. So now I have this, and I need to now. I didn't always used to do this, but Dwayne Rambo kind of turned me on to this, and it works amazingly. Hot glue in both ends helps stretch this out so much. It helps this interlock out so much, so much. So you basically want to hot glue about 1/4 inch of this D-core so that they grab onto each other on both ends. So heat up your hot glue. You want to get this hot glue nice and heated up. You want it pretty hot here. And there you go. Just dab it on there a bit. You could reheat it if you want to make it softer, but that should be fine. I'll kind of give you a close-up in a second of what it looks like. But I could get this end now. Heat up my glue. And hot glue this here. And that's it. I need vape. Yeah, you got to take it out of the hot glue. Yeah, you have to take it out of the drill to hot glue it. You got to decore it first. Definitely decore it first. You don't want to glue it onto the core, and then it's going to be hard to decore. You got to decore it first. Those are all small wires, Philly. Those are all very small wires. You might need goggles. That's not easy to see, all them little wires. If your 30 gauge frames go everywhere, wait until you see me do the double barrel, see what I use for the frames. You're gonna love that when I start pulling out the 34 gauge for frames. Yeah, you could get a jeweler's loop, and a jeweler's loop is basically just this thing without the goggles. It's like 5 times magnification, and that works good. I like using these because I don't have to hold anything, and I could have them on as I fuse. Or I also have like just a detective magnifying glass. I used to use this solving crimes and shit, so. Just put the wire like that. Like that. Just like that. You see? Oh, great. Drew's here. Great. All right. So, now, let me get... Here, you want to be a private dick, huh? Speaking about dicks, what's up, Drew? We're just getting started. We're only an hour and 17 minutes in. The fun stuff has yet to begun. All right. So, get this build back into the drill. Tighten it down. All right. Get my D-core. And get it clamped to my table, just like the other one. Make sure it clamps both wires, so clamp the hot glue. I just hot glued both wires together. You meant to just watch the replay, huh? This Coil Master silicone bottle is so awesome. So anybody that doesn't know, I installed the Coil Master silicone bottle into the RAM box, and you like hardly have to press it to get juice up there. Loving it. All right. Yeah, he treated dead rabbit on my purple squonk. He treated dead rabbit on my purple squonk. Isn't that cute? Girly as fuck. Same thing with me. I mean, you've seen my scorecard. Alright. I had like the top 2 coils were off by a point, and then the next 3 coils were tied. The next 2 were tied. The one under that was by 1 point. Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of good things about the Bonza. I've been hearing a lot of good feedback about the Bonza. So I'm holding the hot glue, making sure that I'm holding both wires at the same time. This is holding both wires at the same time. This is very important, this part, this stretching part. And just watching it. If anything, understretch it. You can always stretch it more. I'll show you what my stretch looks like. Now, interlocks should look consistent, but consistent stretch. They're not always going to line up when you stretch it. They're not always going to look perfect, but one shouldn't be stretched more than the other. If the one has a bigger loop in it than the other, then it's just not stretched good. They weren't held at the right pressure. But what it should basically look like is like this. You don't want two different kinds of loops in it. See how they're not completely lined up here. They will when I start clapping it. But the stretches look basically the same. There's some parts that are going to look pretty lined up. All right, now interlocks and stitches are the same in this way. The interlock, all right, they're not going to fall on top of each other. They cross each other, but they're going to fall on the frames next to each other. So you definitely have to hold a bigger angle, all right, bigger angle than a regular alien. They fall next to each other on the frames. In the middle, they cross, but on the frames, they fall next to each other, all right, on each frame. So if I just did 16 inches stretch, it's going to get me 2 times as much as a regular alien would at 16 inches. So it falls next to each other. So I'm going to take my wire and counterclockwise, I'm going to wrap it back towards the drill since I'm starting in the middle of the wire here. Usually I would just wrap it around here, but since I'm starting in the middle of the wire, I'm going to wrap backwards on my stitched alien, and I'll just take this off later. Let me cut this stitch right here. It's kind of sticking up. Crimp it down. Doesn't interfere with what I'm doing. I can move my slider a little more out of the way. And then I'm just going to start slow. And I'm going to look for the interlock to hit. And then I need to hold the same pressure. But usually you could take it, right? Let me show you this on the camera. This might help a lot of people. I never showed this before. All right, you see that? Doesn't look that awesome, right? Watch what happens when I pull tension. Look at that. Would you just look at it? That looks a lot better, don't it? Watch when I let go. Doesn't look that great. Watch when I pull tension. Would you look at it? It just comes together, don't it? So I want to hold that same tension as I'm alien. and I want to watch it right here. As it goes up on the wire, I keep my eye on this. And if it looks like I need to pull more tension because it's getting sloppy, I do. But usually the same tension will do it. So keep your eye right here as you're going down the wire. All right. Make sure my drill's in reverse. Gotta move my slider. Move the camera. Slider. Get the tension back. I'm at the end here. I got plenty enough for a coil, but whatever. I'll finish this off. All right. Let me get it on the paper so I can show you a little better. Cut this. Let me see how much I got left of this. Probably enough to do another one. So I have enough to do a stitched again and an interlock. So maybe I'll make this same setup later and just get dual coils on both. Okay, let me take the beginning of this interlock off, how I back wrapped it to the stitch. Take it here, hold pressure, put the drill in backwards, in reverse. And I will cut it here. Booyaka. Crimp it down and make it look a little nice and pretty. Okay. Take her out. I'm going to cut these ends off because there's no need for them anymore. Both these are good, so. Okie dokie. So first, this is the stitched alien first. Yeah. This is stitched. Let me get my light reflector jaunt. Stitched. Could have got it a little tighter there, but that's the beginning. Alright, and now we're going to the interlock. Look at it on the frames. See how they fall next to each other? Come on. Let me cut them in half. Stitched on the right, interlock on the left. They look very similar, yeah, but they are kind of similar though, how they're done, ain't they? Two different ways to going about it. One's both curved, one's straight, and the other's curved. I like them both. I don't like either one better than the other. I've always had a thing for stitched aliens, though, because stitched you could do a lot with. I mean, you could do a lot with both. You could do a lot with interlock, too. But I like stitched mohawks. I like stitched aliens. Like when I was starting, I liked to stitch a lot. I liked a lot of stitches. I didn't like interlocks as much, but now they're both good. Lots of people like interlock for the vape. They really like interlock aliens for the vape, and they do vape really good. Okay, so I know a lot of people probably, I think I seen you saying, what the fuck is a double barrel? So the build I did for the build-off actually had double barrel frames. You just can't see it because I kind of messed up that build and just put it together and put an alien over it. So a double barrel frame, like let's just imagine, just a regular Staggerton. All right, a regular Staggerton would be, let's just say this regular Staggerton I have here. All right. So this would be a regular Staggerton. Of course, it's clapped in with 42, so it's going to be super hard to see. But okay. Staggerton. All right. Man, that 42 looks good. Anyway. The frames on this are 28 gauge. All right. So let's just say, we got 28 gauge frames here. Let's just say instead of them 28 gauge frames, we took them out and put 2 wires instead of each frame on top of each other. So I'm going to take the 28 out on one side and put 2 wires in that are on top of each other. That's a double barrel. So when you do this, you should use 0.4 ribbon. This is 0.3 actually, but you should use 0.4 ribbon. See how thin that is? That's very hard to double barrel. But let's say for the sake of argument, that was 26 gauge. It would be a lot easier. You would take the 26 gauge out and you would add 2 pieces of 34, because 34 is about half the size of 26. They vape better and they look cool. They just, anything, when it looks smaller, it just looks good, and 0.3 vape's great. You can put a lot of ribbons in and it's not so low. So that's why people use 0.3. That's 8-ply 0.3, 28 gauge frames, and 42 fuse. That's like a 0.15 dual coil build 5-rack. So all them wires in there, all that surface area, and it's a 0.15 build. That's why a lot of people like using that. More surface area, not as high. So a double barrel. So I did a double barrel with that build-off build. So what I'm going to do is, I did this the other day. So if you look at one of the close-ups in the build, the wire pouring shot, I actually put it in the picture of this video, in the what is it called? In the thumbnail of this video, you see the side of a wire, and there's 2 pieces of wire in there if you look. So I did this wire live the other day, and it needs frames. All right. So I'm going to put 2 pieces of 34 on each side of this. They're going to be stacked on top of each other, and then I'm going to fuse it. All right, so when I look at it from the side right here, there's going to be 2 wires on top of each other. Thanks, Freddie. That's for the people. It's for the judges and for the people. All right, so let's put these frames on. Yeah, you can imagine how tricky it is. That's why that build took me so long, and I really just wanted to make it a pitchfork so you could see the frames, but I ended up failing and have to do something else, so you can't really see it that good. So, yeah, you better watch that, Drew. You say, here's the thing, Drew. You're not afraid of a little research work, so you went and looked at the builds, but some people, some people may not want to go do the research and the work, and they'll go look at other builds. They'll be like, oh, wow. Yeah, Cloud Envy's build here is awesome, but that one he did better, so he's going to get judged better because look at that build above it. I like that one. I'm going to judge him on that build, So go watch the fucking video, you D-bag. I don't know who I'm talking about. I'm not really talking about nobody. Oh, what coil did he submit? Oh my god, who's this? What coil did he submit? Oh my god, oh, why didn't he submit this one? Oh, I don't like that picture. I'm gonna fucking give him less points. He likes Coil Society and not Kidney Puncher. I'm gonna fucking give him less points. You know the douchebags on our team. So, just to let you guys know, it's not just people on the Resistance crew that are judging it. It's mostly people on the Resistance crew, but I did get an outside judge too. So, just so there was some kind of, obviously me and the Resistance crew talk a lot, and, just so there was kind of an outside eye. So, last minute, I kind of got another judge that isn't on the team, has nothing to do with the team. So, awesome builder though, so. Oh, if Mindford was judging you, one of 2 things would happen. Either you'd all be fucked, or he's a super nice guy and everybody would get the same points. So that's the 2 things that would have happened. Is either he judged it based on how he builds and we'd all be fucked. He'd judge my build too. Or he's a super nice guy and he would just give everybody the same points. I speak from my experience. How about that? All right. So let me get I actually did want to do some research because really when you look at wire, now, if you look at the wire chart really, 34 gauge is 0.16. I need to make it at 0.4 because there's 0.4 ribbon next to it. And 32 is 0.203. So really 2 pieces of 32, which is a bigger wire, is closer to 0.4 ribbon. But when you do like a staggered build, you want your frames a little smaller. So I don't know if the stretch from the 32 is enough. And I did 34 on the last build, so I'm just going to do 34. It's a pain in the ass, but whatever. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to if I don't finish this build before this video is like, I don't know, 2.5, 2:45 in, then, you know, I'm just going to show you what I got. I don't need to finish this build tonight. I'm not going to make this video super long because I didn't finish it. I'm going to get the frames on. I'm going to start fusing it. And at a decent time, I'm going to cut the video off. Show you guys what it looks like, you know, show you a side view. But for the most part, we've all seen what a build like this looks like. So it should still be a super cool build. So what I am going to do is get my 34. I'm going to look at it and realize that it's super thin. And this is going to suck. So I see you did not use your ceramic tweezers. You probably did not maybe do a good job. Maybe you get the hot glue with your ceramic tweezers. Yeti's uncle. What do you know? Yeti getting all the love. Look at that. As he should. As he should. Oh, I really like his videos. They are super. I mean, I've learned a lot from his videos. I learn a lot from just about every builder's videos, as long as they're, you know, fairly good at doing it. I learn a lot from just about every video I watch of a builder. I've learned something, even if it's a build. Like when he came out with like the Bandit Tsuka, I already knew that build, but I watched it. I learned something. When he came out with the other build, the what else did he do? Did he do a Staggerton? Yeah, I think he did a Staggerton. I knew that build, but I learned something. It actually made me pick up the hot glue. Pitchfork, I definitely learned something. I think there was something with the pitchfork I wish he would have explained more. I had to go back and watch it to actually see what was going on. And it was basically the fusing, the last fuse. Okay, so I guess how I'm going to do this is, I forget how I did the first one, but I guess I'm just going to take these two wires and be very careful. And I'm going to bend them in half like this. You want to make sure that they stay very, very straight. You do not want to bend these and fuck them up. And I cut the loop off of this. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, that was a horrible idea. Oh, no bueno. No fucking bueno. I cut the loop off this build. That's no good. Mm-mm-mm-mm. There's no way that I could put this 34 on the swivel and expect it to stay proper. Maybe I could put a piece of ribbon first. There's a couple things I could do here in this situation, actually. What I'm going to do is... Yeah, I think I'm going to put like a loop of hot glue right up here. A loop of 26. So yeah, let me get some... Should I do it afterwards? I'll do it after. Yeah, I'll do it after I put the 34. I think I still want to put a piece of ribbon on this, though. I think I want to put a piece of ribbon and then the double barrel. That may make my life a little easier. I don't know. Yeah, fuck it, let's do it. I'm gonna get a piece of 0.4. And stretch it out about 18 inches and cut it. And I'm going to fold it in half. Yeah, hurry back, Drew. Okay. And I'm going to bend it over here. This may not make my life easier. That may actually hurt my fuse. I don't know. Nope. Fuck this. That may actually hurt my fusing. Let's just continue as planned in the first place and just get the 34 gauge. And stop double guessing myself. So I'm going to loop the two pieces of 34 over and literally try to get them stacked. Now this is going to seem like a complete pain in the ass, but when you think about it, I'm going to get a piece of 40 gauge here, right? And when I wrap this, I mean, they're going to fall on top of each other, right? They're not going to stick, like one's not going to stick on top of each other. He must eat candy for dinner. Yeah. How about them birds? Okay, so I'm just tying this 40 really fucking tight around this. And then we're going to look at it under the macro, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. And you just got to make sure that this 34 isn't bending up behind you. So I can cut this now. And now when I look at it on the side, I see that they're stacked. And I see that they're stacked. Okay. Let me get the macro on and kind of show you. Oh, hold on a second. I gotta actually grab my phone. You see it? Did you look at it? Hold on. It's hard for me to grab and show you at the same time. It's hard to see because of how I'm holding it. You know what I have to do? I have to put another bind in it and then show you, because where I have to hold my hand to show you, once I get another bind in it, it'll be easier to see. But I'm going to take my fingers and make sure that they're not twisted. You don't want them to twist on each other. You want the same parallel wires all the way down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab them, and I'm actually going to use my my goggles. And I'm going to look at them close up. And quite honestly, the hardest part about this is that there's two sides. If there was just one side, it would be much easier. But since there's two sides, it can be a pain in the ass. Because if one side's good, you still have to adjust your fingers to get the other side. But I think I have both sides good right now. So let me fuse this like this. Before I cut it, I'm going to check it. Okay. Now another way you could do this is you could just start at the one end. You could start down here and just keep checking it as you go with the fusing. And if you have a good start, usually it'll be okay. But I got this good right here, so I'm going to come down a little bit here. Get my goggles. Look at it. Get the wires. Give it to Clean as Fuck Coils. He's actually sending me something, so there, give it to him. Clean as Fuck Coils is giving me a hand drill. So you should give him that. You definitely want to make sure that you get them on the side and they don't go behind. That's one thing you definitely don't want to do. All right. And I'm just going to keep taking it down. And when I'm thinking about it, I'm not going to worry too much about if they're stacked and not twisted, because as I fuse, as long as I start off good, I'm going to worry about the first one. And if I start off good, I think I'll be all right. Just make sure that they're not super twisted, they're pretty straight, and that they're not going behind the build. All right, so I could cut these, get this messy stuff off of here. All right, so I'm gonna make sure that the beginning is definitely nice and neat. One on top of each other, one on top of another. Wrap it nice and tight so it stays that way. Okay. I got two cats, bread and butters. Alright, so now I'm going to see which end looks better, either this end or that end, and that's where I'm going to put my drill, and I'm going to put a loop on the opposite end. But I definitely want this nice and tight, so I might have to hot glue this. But let me just show you if I can. This is obviously very small stuff that I'm working with, so I'm going to do my best to show you what it looks like. This is, you're probably asking, like, why would you even do this? It's basically just a bragging rights build, isn't it? I got 2 frames on there instead of 1. That's basically it. A challenge, if you will. I've seen a couple other builders do it. I've actually seen people stack up 2 stacks. So it was like a double barrel. So that actually looks good for a little bit. It sags down, but it's not twisted, so I like that. I'm going to flip it around and look at the other side real quick and see if it kind of looks the same. As long as it's not twisted, I'm going to be able to work with it. And that's where my drill is going to go. So there's the beginning. It's a little sagged. It may be twisted. Fuck. I think this one side is no good, which kind of sucks, but I think I'm just going to go and try to do this. I keep doing that. Okay. Yeah, the one side's twisted. I'm going to see if I could work with it until I get to that part. 34 is not very strong, so my fuse, if I fuse it tight enough, I may be able to take care of it as I move along, especially with a macro setup. Because 34 is small, but if I could see 40, 34 is much bigger than 40. So I got it on the end here. Everything's stacked up good on the drill end. I'm going to get my hot glue. I guess the moral of the story is keep it as straight as you can when you're prepping it. Just do the best you can. And if you start off good and pay attention, you could probably fix it as you move along. I'll glue this end. I'm going to get my ceramic tweezers. And I'm going to push down on the 34 against, like that. I know you can't see it. And get them tight to the sides. My hair's on fleek. I should be good. All right. I got to get this 26. I bet if I just cut these down here that actually may help, but who knows? It may help to just have them flopping around. Eddie, what's up? Fuck you. So now I'm going to get a piece of 26 gauge because I got to make a loop to connect my swivel to, since I decided to cut it off the other day for whatever reason. He needs TP for his bunghole. Stretch it straight. I just have like a 4-inch piece here. Bend it in half, make a loop. Put it over these. Just like this. Just gonna put it right over there. Let's put it over it like that. Nice. It's really nice. Get some really nice wire. Can get some 40 gauge, really nice 40 gauge wire. Just gonna wrap it up. Will I do autographs? I think you guys should know me enough by now. I give the people what they want, you know? I guess Grim Green does autographs, I think. Right? Get my ceramic tweezers. If Grim Green signed shit, Rip Trippers too. Is it so crazy to think that I might not be able to autograph something one day? I don't think so. I'd be honored. Alright, I just gotta get some of this 26 gauge out of my fucking way. Yeah, you just gotta get out of my fucking way. Boom. Boom. Kutsky. Ba ba ba. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to put this onto my swivel. Pull it. Oh, it's strong. That's good. All right, so now what I'm not liking is there's a lot of slack in this 34 gauge here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up the hot glue and pull the 34 as it dries. I actually need to. Jesus Christ. Why did I do this build? Actually, you know what? Looks like I could just pull it straight without heating the hot glue and maybe just hot glue it after I'm done pulling it. Yeah, it's pulling through the hot glue. Now it looks a lot tighter. And now I'll hot glue it again. Reheat that. Heat that. Drip that. Drip that. Wrap it around. Pull tension. Pull tension. Okay, here we go. Okay, bend that. Get this motherfucker centered. Center, motherfucker, center. That's not center. Century. All right, this is gonna be fun. Woo! Woo! So, remember I told you guys somebody sent me something and I didn't know who sent it? Well, I found out who sent it. They actually did tell me they were sending something and it just slipped my mind. So they did message me and say, hey, did you get my package? And oh my God, it was an awesome package. The one thing is the one thing I really want to keep. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do because it was sent to actually go into either a giveaway or help the channel out in some way. So I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it and replace it with something else. It's a mech mod. And I just ordered a mech mod, so I'm wondering, it's about the same price. I'm wondering if I should just switch one out for the other and keep this one, give away the one that I bought. But somebody sent me some cool shit. This is what they sent. So they sent cotton bacon, so that's going to be given away at some point. They sent this Mr. Tank, which looks really fucking cool. It's a humongous tank with a single coil deck. Spanking brand new. It's humongous. But it also has like a small, you could make it a little smaller. Got mid airflow, and it seems like it probably vapes like really good. It's got mid airflow, a big single coil, and a humongous tank. Humongous fucking tank. Look at Mr. T. He's like, whoa, yeah, whoa. right. And this is what I want to keep that I might have to switch out with something. VGod Mech Mod, and it's a hybrid. So hybrid's a little scary, but actually the Mech Mod that I order is a hybrid. So I'm not sure. This isn't even open yet. From what I understand, this is a pretty cool Mech Mod. It's only like a $60 Mech Mod. So the Mech Mod I'm getting is the Trishaloo Mech Mod. So I don't know. As I sit and I think about it, I'm like, you know what? I don't give a shit. But when I seen it, I was like, wow, this is fucking cool. And then I like watched a video on it. I watched Big Louie's Coast, and it's an aluminum, and he was talking about the copper, but it's a cool ass mech mod. So either, you know, at some point, you know, I'm not in the business of just taking this mail and not, you know, not doing what's supposed to be done with it. So I'd rather show it to you guys. In addition to that, the build that I showed for the build off was the Goon, the Black Goon. This is going to the second place winner. All right. Second place winner is going to get this with the build in there. I'm just going to keep that build in there. And that's going to be the second place winner. The guy couldn't find the drip tip. So whoever the second place winner is, I'm going to talk to them. If they really don't have one, I got extra ones. I could take care of that. But some people have a lot of drip tips and they don't need it. So I'll talk to the second place winner. And then the third place winner... Twisted Message Squared, which is one of my favorites. So black Twisted Message Square. It's the same one that I have, only it has a silver. Oh, it has a blue. Ooh, I don't have this. Ooh, these guys ain't getting this. I didn't know there was a blue one. Cool. I have a silver and black. I don't have a black. I don't have a silver and blue. That's cool. Cool. Okay. And that comes with all this stuff. This is brand new. It doesn't have the screwdriver in there. But no biggie. That was also awfully cool of the guy to send this. And he also sent Crown 3. This is going to get given away at some point. There's no coils in there. So I'm going to pick up some coils and give this away at some point too. All right. So early Christmas for me, yeah. So that's what I got. I just got all this stuff. If I was gonna be like that, I wouldn't have showed you anything, you fuckers. I would have just said, nah, I didn't get your fucking package, dude. What are you talking about? You must have had the wrong address. I don't know what you're talking about. Nah, you must have sent that to 2727. Didn't get it. Didn't get it, dude. You must have sent it to Dick Levin. You didn't send it to Nick Devine. I quit building. I don't know what you're talking about. First set of packages I get, I just stop fucking talking to everybody. Stop doing lives. So super cool for people to send that to help the channel out. There we go. So that's that. That thing is being made as we speak. Oh man, cool. I'm gonna chop that thing up and snort. We'll be headed my way shortly. You should have entered instead of judging. I told you all you should enter. I could have got different judges. I don't need you fuckers. Yeah, I mean, if anybody else has anything, I would just wait until I announce like the next thing, because now I don't want to get caught in a situation where I have like so much shit, and like you got to figure I also have to go to the post office and mail the shit away. I super appreciate people doing that, but if you guys like right now, that's a lot of stuff. Like that's a lot of stuff between the build off and like stuff like that. So that's a lot of things to give away so far. So, wait until the next time around I say I'm doing a giveaway soon. I don't want to be because now I also have companies sending me shit too. So I don't want to have too much to where I get like rip trippers and I have this big fucking box I gotta give away. It's funny as hell. I still wish she didn't have one. Good one. I love me some Grim Green, so let's just get that straight. Let's get that straight and out of the way. I'm a big Grim Green fan. I like Grim Green a lot. Jimi Hendrix or Jimmy Page? Jimmy Page for sure. Alright, let's fucking fuse some shit. Fucking fuse something. So I did this 40 gauge nichrome, but I think I'm going to get a little crazy here. And I think I'm going to fuse the next one 40 gauge stainless. Don't tell anybody, but I think that's what I'm going to do. It's just my little secret between me and yous guys. I just gotta find the 40 gauge stainless steel. I just had it. $40 gauge. 40 gauge stainless steel. Where are you? Oh, there it is. Okay. Stainless steel. Barry Manilow or Barry White? Probably Barry White. Yeah, whatchamacallit, Rip Trippers definitely looks a little skinny. Looking skinny. He caught a lot of heat for being fat, too. But now he looks skinny. So he's going to catch heat for that. Skinny fuck. That's what you get. That's what you get. Saying that vaping has fucking flaws. Vaping has no flaws. I stuck it right through that corrugated. Right. Boom. Right through that corrugated. Ba 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 boom. What the fuck? Oh, I hate it when that happens. There's a lot of pressure. Damn. So there's a lot of pressure on. Fuck, I hate that. See my wire? There's like too much pressure. Too much pressure pretty much in that 34. It looks like I fucking pulled the shit out of it. And the fucking corrugated wire. It looks like if I just pull it, it might be alright. Oh, I do not like what's going on here at all. Shouldn't have cut that fucking loop off. What the fuck was I thinking? The fuck? The fucking fuck was I thinking? Fucking idiot! Fucking scumbag! Come on! Let go! What the fuck is wrong with you? I think I gotta melt this hot glue to loosen up this 34. It's so fucking tight that it's tight, and the fucking big ass wire in the middle is fucking curved. It's like if you were to tune a guitar string like too tight and it would start bending the fucking neck. That's what's happening here. The 34 is so tight that the fucking corrugated fucking fused is fucking warping. I used to play guitar. I used to have a lot of guitars and basses when I was younger. Sold them all for fucking drugs. And I never bought one again. That was like my first time around. It's when I was really young. It's like I got clean the first time when I was like 21. I slap at the bass, man. I slap in the bass. Acoustics are all I love. I love electric guitars though. I really dislike. I just like that a lot better. Yeah, I went to school for like music programming and shit, so I went to school for music programming, guitar. You have to take piano and fucking music history and shit like that with it. Yeah, definitely didn't sell it for wire. Yeah, music theory. Yeah, I used to do. It was way back, like when I was in college. Was 9/11 happened, and at that point, I was taking music programming, like MIDI programs, like laying down tracks on computers and shit. That was like the only thing that interested me at that point of my life. So I'm just going to start this off. I'm actually starting to think the less binds the better, but we'll see. Yeah, I had like 3 basses and 6 guitars, 1 acoustic. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. At one point I had like 6 at one point altogether. I had like 3 basses, 3 guitars, but I've had many and traded to get another one. I never had 10 at one time. I had like 6 at one point. But yeah, Oxycontins were very expensive. Alrighty. So that one side looks pretty good. Let's see what the other side looks like. Oh, it's too fast. Let me slow my drill down. It looks all right. I'd rather this be up more on the 0.4 side. So I guess, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this on camera. Try to manipulate the wire up a little bit. You want to get it good in the beginning. All right. So the beginning here, my spacing isn't good because when I started off, I didn't really care. And I also started to realize that my first spacing was bad. So it's a little angled and stuff. So right now, I'm not worrying too much about where this fuse lands. I'm just worried about them frames getting a good start. See that? I like that right there. Let's see what the other side looks like. I wish that was down a little more now. I wonder if that's the one that I brought up. Come on, fucker. Just important to get a real good start, because if you get a good start, you should be able to figure this thing out. You would think so. I'm going to start trying to fall into some spaces now. This is the type of fuse where now I'm going to need my goggles because there's just too many wires going on. See, like I thought I fell into a space there, but I didn't. I have to go back into it. I'd really like this wire to turn out to be really nice. All right, now that I got a couple fuses on there, take this bad motherfucker here. There you go. What if I did that every fucking time I fell into the space? Master P. It's called the Master P. All right, so I really think it's kind of like I still think that these binds, it just may not be the best thing for it. I think taking out these binds might be the smart thing. I forget what I did the first one. I think the first one I just really took my time on and fused it together with the with these on. I'm pretty sure that's what I did. I think I just really took a lot of time getting them double barrel frames on. But I think if I left this loose, that it would probably just keep falling into place. I'm only moving a little bit up the wire each time. So I think if I take that fuse out now and just keep paying attention to my double barrel frames, that things should go all right. I'm going to leave this one down here in so I don't have it binded all the way up to here. So, you know, a good 5 inches, you know. What's up, Sherlock Holmes? A good 5 inches. All right. Let me get a vape, and I'm just going to start doing this. I'm probably going to cut this video off at 3 hours. There's no sense in going all the way. It's going to take me a little bit to fuse this. So I'm going to get a good 15 more minutes going of this so I could show you what it looks like, even though, I mean, you could probably kind of imagine what it's going to look like. A good 5 inches, yeah. All right, here we go. I know my spacing in the beginning was a little messed up, but I'm still just going to try to do my best because I know down the wire a little bit, it gets a lot better. Man, this one side just wants to go wherever it wants to go. It doesn't want to listen. You know what happens when things don't listen? Do the same thing I do to my daughter. I take their phone. But the wire doesn't have a phone. This is where my problem comes. Damn this thing. Fuck this double barrel shit. I'll get it. It's just Still in the beginning, you know. I'm still in the beginning of this build. This is still going to be a lead. I just got to get it straightened out and worked out by the time I get down this wire. It's kind of, I just got to pull the pressure in the right spots and let pressure go in the right spots. Yeah. I'm not pulling enough pressure. I'll get it. I got my first one, so I'll get my second one. But the side view of these double barrels looks so awesome. When you see two wires in that build that you weren't expecting, that's when the bitches start flowing in. This is, I'm coming up to where my spacing started to get fucked up. Yeah, lots of people don't even know what a double barrel is. You really have to look at builds to even see what the hell people are talking about. I remember I think the first person I seen do it is one of my favorite builders. Build Lab, I believe, is the first person I seen do it. And I was like, what? That's insane. This shit's crazy. I was like, what the fuck? What? That shit's fucking crazy. This motherfucker is off the fucking wall. Build Lab's the man. I really like Build Lab. One of my faves. Quite possibly one of the best too. It's kind of hard to say who the best builder is, but it's not hard to say who my favorites are. I got a lot of favorites. I have a lot of people that, in my opinion, are the best, but it is kind of hard to say who the best are. But my favorites, I could pick like my top 5. I think I've done it before. It goes me. It goes, I really like Build Lab. I like Space Coils. I like Greg Stevens. I like Tommy Neek. I like Ramo. And I like them all for different reasons too. And I like Squirming Coils a lot. I would say those are my top 5 favorites. Me, the Resistance crew all together. Me again, Build Lab, and Ramo. Those are my top 5. What a douchey thing to say, right? And the best builders, I mean, You would have to look at different things for the best builders, wouldn't you? You couldn't just say, like, the best builders, because there's different categories to that, isn't there? So I always say MindForge, and this is why. Because there's different categories to the best builder. You could have the best builder, meaning the cleanest coils, the cleanest, most the cleanest, most difficult coils. Photography comes into there a lot. But then you could also say, who's done most for the community, who's had the most original concepts. You could say Blue Eye Goon. If it wasn't for him, who knows if I'd even be making videos, because half these coils I'm doing are all originated from Blue Eye Goon and Squid Dude. Like, all of them. So when I think of it that way, I always say MindForge, because he does have a couple original concepts in there. He's got his Enigma, which is blown up, and then he just does really clean, difficult coils all the time, and his photography is probably the best. But then, like, Greg Stevens, man, he's the same way. He does a lot of fucking you see this coil's all messed up here, so I'm not even gonna worry about it right here. Greg Stevens does a lot of difficult builds very cleanly, really good pictures. But it's easy for me to pick my favorites, and then there's a lot of guys that when I was coming up were just really cool to me, and just were some of my first followers that were builders, like Dean Fincha, D Fincha. He's part of Build Lab. He's part of Team Goon. He was always really fucking cool to me. He was my very first YouTube follower years ago, when I started coming out with, like, stupid little videos. Tooney was always very fucking nice to me when I started and everything. And then there was a guy, Tim McFadden. They called him McMuffin because his name's spelled real weird. His name's really spelled like Minth, MNNPH. It's spelled really weird, but he was always really cool. Sean Obi was always really cool. My buddy Kevin, what's his name? He's on Coil Goons. Big Baller, that's his name. He was always really cool. Squirming Coils was always cool. Yeah, Freddie knows he's really cool. You know. I'm starting to come up to where I was fusing really good, and I was becoming like a coil god right here. So this is where. And then, yeah, there's people that I met down the line that are just always been cool to me. Crazy Face McGee's the one that pretty much got me on the team. Well, he is the one, not pretty much. He's the one that got me on the fucking team. You know, Yeti's cool. And then, between him and Tooney getting me on Fresh's channel. Oh, Homeboy Josh has always been really cool to me, too. Obviously, Kenny, Sherlock Ohms, ever since we started talking. He's been super cool. Without giving too much away, he's been super fucking cool. Nobody's really been a dick to me. I've never really even had many trolls. There's been a couple here and there. There was one builder, and he was on a pretty big team that was kind of a dick, but I think he's off, like, sucking dick for coke now, so it don't even matter. No, that's not even crazy. I don't even think we'd be talking about the same one. This guy, I've actually mentioned it in the team chat, but it was like a year ago I mentioned it. He was on a pretty good team, a team, you know, not a humongous team. He was on a pretty big team, and he texted me one day, and he was just like, because I didn't get back to him right away, he started getting all fucking fresh. And then I found out that even his teammates didn't like him, and he got kicked off the team, and now he's dropped off of Instagram. But, yeah. I know who you're thinking of, and you have dropped his name on it. But yeah, the dude recently, I didn't even message him when he had an issue with some of the teammates. Because I stay away from that shit. I've said it before. If you're in Philly and you want to start some shit, we could start some shit. As long as I could reach out and grab you by the neck, I don't fucking care. Then I'll fucking... But I don't even like talking to people like that. If I don't think I would say that to you standing in front of you, I don't even really type it. Because that's not me. Seems like a pretty nice guy. I'm not even paying attention to these frames. How are these frames looking? I'm too busy talking. Sounds like this guy I know named Drew. Are you from Philly? Sailor Allen? Or from the East Coast? That's funny. Yeah, I talked about it a little bit ago. It's like we used to say it when cell phones became real big, and like you would get into a fight with somebody and be like, "Give me the phone, give me the phone. If I fucking see you, I'ma fuck you up, you fucking pussy." Dude lives 10 miles away. He'll never see you in your life. I'll beat your whole fucking crew up, you motherfucker. Your mom's a whore. And what, I'm gonna get all bent out of shape over somebody I'm never gonna see in my fucking life? Nah, mine is. No, mine is. I'm the toughest dude in my neighborhood. We had a tournament. They gave out trophies. I'm the toughest dude in my neighborhood. There's the medal. That's the toughest guy in the neighborhood medal. That's actually huge in Philly, the whole toughest guy in the neighborhood when I was growing up. What's going on here? It feels like something went funny at some point. Yep, something definitely went funny at some point. What the fuck is that? What the fuck am I doing? I don't even think anything was messed up here. I think I just started to fuse all willy-nilly. What the fuck was I thinking? Holy moly. There, look, nothing's wrong. I just started to fucking just do whatever the fuck I want. Perfect spacing. Just started, yeah, let's do it this way. I'm gonna try something new. Pattern fusing. That's okay, it'll just be a hybrid. Overlap pattern fusing. Boom. Double barreled overlap pattern fusing. And I'll have somebody make a tutorial of it. So what you gotta do here is you just gotta pull the spool back a 1/4 inch and overlap. I'll be like, this guy's good. This build just came out yesterday. Oh, this guy's good. His overlap fusing's way better than DEVINE's. It's way cleaner. He's damn good. Johnson. This guy's good. It's your cousin Marvin. Remember that new look you were looking for? Well, look at this. It's your cousin Marvin. Marvin Barry. Am I doing it again? No, that's good. I've seen a ton of UFCs. I'm sure if I got into a fight, I'd be really good at watching myself get beat up. Let's try to speed this up. I think the frames, like I said, if you start off good, you see them frames looking good there. Let me look at the other side. Looking good there. So I'm just going to try to speed up this fusing a bit. I'm only going to stay on for a little bit longer. I think you guys get the point. Yeah, you should get a parallel. If you're looking into building stuff like how I'm doing, the smartest thing to do is get a parallel box. Even a triple parallel, but just a parallel box is way safer. Or just a regulated that could fire down below a 0.1. Like the Minikin can fire at like 0.08. I heard some could fire down to 0.07. So if you have a box like that, even that works good. But like the Snow Wolf or the Twisted Messes box, those are good good devices. OG Fuchai, there you go. Yup. And what I'm going to do when I get like another inch down this wire is I'm going to take out the next vine that I had, because I just basically need this wire loose. And it's just going to go where I need it to go if I'm inching down the wire like this. I mean, I'm only going, what, a little more than 0.1 millimeter at a time. So when you're inching down, the wire is just going to fall where it was behind it, if that makes any sense. So let me try to hop in a super slow warp speed instead of try to get into a groove. So I think actually have the video of me making this first wire. I think I did save it. If you guys wanted me to put it up, I could. I do have other videos like it, but if anybody really wants to see it, I can put it up on YouTube. Fairly easy. I just won't edit it, I'll just throw it up. But if people actually see me do this before, there's no sense. Yeah, this should be a pretty cool build if it keeps going. Whoa, hold on a second. No, looks good. Just gotta crimp it down a bit, I think. Get it nice and flat. so I could kind of see. You see down the wire a little bit right here? Looks a little silly. That's because I'm coming up on a bind down there. I can't see this. I'm confused. In the camera. Show yourself. Show yourself. There you go. All right, so I think I need my hat. Why did I throw my hat? What were we talking about? We were talking about double barrel. Damn, nice distance. All right. So I'm up to here. The wire's starting to bind up here, so I'm just going to take out this other bind that I'm closer to. I'm not so sure all these binds were really necessary. I guess it was just to move down the wire in the beginning and make sure that I'm pretty straight. But for the most part, I don't think you need that many. I really don't. It's such a thin wire that when I fuse it, as long as you start it off good, it's going to go where you need it to go. This build should be a super cool build when it's done. Definitely just one of them bragging right builds. Like, look what I could do. So, yeah, with the frames that size, and you know, it's just so easy to pull it where it has to go. I would probably just bind it down here, right? Bind it down here. Maybe have the build, like the middle of the build, on the swivel. Bind it right here as tight as you can, and pull it and bind it here. And then just like how I did when I started off, just try to get it as straight as possible and just let me show you what it looks like, and then I'm pretty much just going to get out of here. I got work tomorrow. I can't be on here too much longer. I got to edit some videos. Cool, man. I hate that you can't flip the camera over. So looking dead on, you know, it's just one of them builds where you're like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, you know, he's pretty good. He's got some skills. And then you do that side boob shot. Oh, man. And you can't see shit. Fuck. Hold on. Let me get it in the light. Show yourself. Show yourself. I mean, these guys did see it the whole time I was doing it, probably, but. You get that side view, and you're like, wait a minute. Are my eyes playing tricks on me, or does that dude have 2 fucking frames in that fucking build? Oh, he's good. Oh, this guy's good. Look at that. Would you just look at it? And dudes start creaming their pants. Boom. You start getting eggplant emojis. Kissy faces emojis from all your build buddies. Them little squirts, yeah. Them little jizz emojis. There you go. Get some reposts. Pretty cool. Cool. Very happy camper. Very happy camper. You know what movie I watched last night? I watched that movie Split. It's a M. Night Shyamalan movie, the same dude that made The Sixth Sense and then a bunch of crappy movies after that. He made The Happening. And he made Unbreakable. I like Unbreakable. That's a good one. And that's funny you just said Debbie Does Dallas, because we also watch my stepmother's an alien, and they make a Debbie Does Dallas joke in that. That's so funny you said that, because we watched them both last night. We watched Split, which is pretty fucking cool. I want to see The Human Centipede. But Split was pretty fucking cool. Yeah, I never seen either. I always wanted to watch them, but I'm a real big horror movie fan. But Split was awesome. I would definitely suggest Split to people. It's a pretty cool fucking movie. Plot was terrible. Funny stuff, guys. That's my teammate, guys. All right. 3 hours and 20 minutes in. I think we're ready to go. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Tuesday, I'm going to try to have that video up. I'm really going to try to do it the same way. Put it up like Tuesday, like as soon as it hits Tuesday. So, you know, midnight Tuesday, boom, have it up. Vodka in the water bottle. I actually haven't drank in a couple days. Is Tuesday a live week or is it a pre-recorded week? Did we do a video Tuesday? Huh. It was a live week this week. This is a pre-recorded week. That's supposed to be my whatchamacallit video. We'll see what happens. Maybe live Tuesday, maybe pre-recorded. It kind of depends how the video goes. Technically, half the video is already done because I'm really going to talk up that video that I put up. I'm just going to erase the music and use that as my video and just have a part in the beginning, part at the end. So really, I'm basically mostly done the next pre-recorded video. That's actually the hard part, getting all them pictures together and editing it like that. So I just got to get the judges' scorecards, get them all, which most of the judges are done. I'm pretty sure I know who the winner is. I think it would have to be like the next. There's like 5 judges. The next 3 judges would have to be pretty lopsided to what the other judges said to change it. Yeah, I'm glad you guys liked that video. I'm trying to work on the music. I know it sounds weird. It's basically me recording with one phone and playing the music on this phone. Like, I'm having a really hard time getting free music downloads. It's very hard. I could put, like, if I wanted to just put like any kind of MP3, like if I just wanted to put like a fucking Metallica song on, that would be easy. But then some of you wouldn't be able to watch it. YouTube would take it down for some of you. So to do that's easy. To get a free music download onto them videos is such a pain in the fucking ass. You think you know who won? That would be a guess. But yeah. You can't decide between 2 people who you thought won. So what I said it in the chat, but what I ended up doing was I actually, instead of top 5 builds, I had top 7. But there was still top 5 builds, but I showed the judges, like, you know, this is the top 7. Maybe the judges thought these 2 were better than these 5. So I just showed them that. The bottom 8, it was just like, there was no way I would have put them in the top. And everybody's build was good, but the top 7 were just like, those are the ones that I would accept as the winner in my build off. So that's how that went. So I showed the judges the top 7. I said I'm going to put a video together. Remember, these are the guys that are my top 7. Go check it out. But some of the judges, like Crazy Face, did their own research. They went and like looked at the builds, and they had the scorecards before I even put it up. But everybody did awesome. They're all awesome builds. I mean, they were all great, really. None of, like, the points, none of them are very lopsided. Like, even the last place to the first place, the points are still very close. So, lots of ties in there with the points. Like, I did a certain amount of point system, and, you know, all the judges were all good with that. And there was just a lot of close ones. Like I said, like 1 and 2 were very close. And then I forget if it was like 3 and 4, or if it was like 4, 5, and 6. I think all had the same points. And then even like 7 and 8 were 1 away. So there you go. Yeah, 10 points away from the top. But all right, guys. Yeah, it's hard to pick. That's why I needed judges, because even with my scorecard, I was even like, man, that's still just hard. Even though I do the points, I pick my favorite. Even sometimes I pick my favorite, but the points don't add up with that. Like, I was even telling the judges, like, this one I like better than this one, but this one gets more points than that one, just because that's just the way the point system goes. So, but you get different eyes. I think there's 5 judges, so you get very different. Even like me and Drew's scorecards where they were the same in ways, but there was differences in them. So you get different and like the one judge was just like, I think this should be there and that should be there, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. Whatever you think. You do what you feel. We'll add up all the points. Most of them are pretty close though. With the top couple, they're mostly pretty close. So take it easy, guys. Have a good week. Maybe Tuesday live, maybe Tuesday pre-recorded along with the video of the builds. And you even got a DM over on score. Yeah. The one I was like, really? Okay. Really? That many points for that? Okay. That's all you. All right. Take it easy. Have a good week. Yeah, it was fair. Wish y'all were my co-workers. You might not watch us if we were co-workers. I got co-workers that vape. They don't watch my shit. Gotta deal with me all the fucking day. Alright, guys. Peace. I'm out of here.